Okay. Let's go, my people. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
Hello. You've got the Christian quarter, the Armenian quarter, the Muslim quarter, which is the biggest one of them all, and the Jewish one. The man who built these walls, his name was Suleiman the Magnificent. These are young walls from the year 1540. Very young. In Jerusalem, that's young. Okay? The man who built these ones was Suleiman the Magnificent. He, by the way, listened to his wife's advice. She was the one who told him to build the walls. Okay? Video, beseder. He was the one, she was the one who told him that in order to be remembered on the pages of history, he should surround Jerusalem with a thick wall. So men definitely listen to your wife, yes? You never know. You might be, we're talking about Suleiman now, but he's listening to his wife, yes? This is Suleiman, look at his hat. He got a funny hat, yes? Yes, it's a Turkish hat. Yes. The Dutch, when they came to Turkey, they looked at those hats and they say, hey, it looks like our national flower. What's the name of this hat? The Turks told them it's tulip. That's the name. So since then, the flower got the name tulip. Okay?
I'm going to explain you about the discounts and everything. Now, later on, you're going to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. So I'm going to show you what to buy if you like to buy and bless it there. It becomes a religious relic. And a lot of you would like to buy candles to light in the church. For Catholics and Orthodox, it's the candles from the Holy Eastern Light. אז תעשה שקט שם. So everybody in the back, please.
If you can have a bit closer.
If anybody needs washrooms, you have clean washrooms inside. We have cold drinks. It's on the house or hospitality. Concerning shopping, this is recommended shop by the Ministry of Tourism. Gold, diamonds, antiquities are certified and guaranteed. The prices in the shop is marked in dollars US. For the cruise members, you'll be getting 50%, 50%, half price. Each and every item is marked in dollars, half price. You can pay with euros and you get change in euros. You can pay with shekels or credit card. Things to buy to bless in the church is candles. 33 represent Jesus life. It costs with the discount $1 only. This type costs $2. It's with a flavor. And you have from honey doesn't break, it costs $12. This is 33 Age of Jesus, represent Jesus life. You light it from the holy light from the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. And you have this type that costs $6 that you can make it and separate them later on and give for gifts. We also have the holy water, holy soul. The whole box $2 with a discount. This type costs $6 and you have $8 instead of 16. This has an icon, candle, holy soil, earth, and soil. You have a lot of beautiful crosses to put in your hand because Jesus, when he entered the church, he had a big on him and people they hold a cross in olive wood in their hand. We have a lot of beautiful ones there and here. We also have a beautiful section of olive wood, rosary beads, and if you are Christian or you have Christian friends, your best bit for souvenirs is the Jerusalem cross, Christ Jerusalem. The 5 crosses in one represents Jesus, the center of the universe. The 4 small ones, the 4 gospels, God, earth, water, and fire. The 5 wounds, the 5 main gates. They have the word Jerusalem engraved on the back. If you get it in gold, diamond, or silver. We have icons for Orthodox and for Catholic. If you like to buy an icon and bless it there, it becomes a religious relic. Your guide will show you afterwards in the church where and how to do the blessings. So prices are marked in dollars, 50%, 50% descuento, everything is half price. Holy Bibles are sold there in Spanish and in English. This is for protection in the sea. And Saint Nicholas is also for Orthodox, is the protection for you in the sea. Saint Nicholas, but we have also the Virgin Mary of Jerusalem, and we have the Tree of Life, Jesus with the 12 disciples. Those are the main icons you can buy in Jerusalem. You have them in thousands of dollars and tens of dollars, hundreds of dollars. All the prices from $5 to $10,000 icons. So whatever you have, whatever you need, the whole shop is 50% for you. Thank you for your time.
Lower my voice, because otherwise my band members get super tough with me. They will fire.
Take pictures.
2,000 years ago. 2,000 years ago. You need to use your imagination. 2,000 years ago, this place did not exist. I mean, I'm talking about the buildings around us. They weren't here. It was outside the city walls back then, okay? The Romans were crucifying people all the time in this place on top of the Golgotha. This is the area of the Golgotha where we're going to get inside. A skull-shaped hill, okay? This great dome is station number 10, where Jesus was stripped out of his clothes. But back then, 2,000 years ago, there was nothing. It was a quarry. They used to carve limestone over here. And there was a place of sepulchres, which means only the rich people could be buried inside burial grottos. The poor people, their bodies used to be thrown out to the open. Yes, for the scavengers. So Jesus was brought over here on a Friday afternoon. This is the end of the Via Dolorosa, the road of grief. The far last station of the cross are inside the church. But back then,
Нет, там никого нет.
it had to be done quickly. They needed to crucify Jesus because the Romans knew that Friday, at the end of the Friday, that's the holiday of the Sabbath. You don't crucify someone on a Sabbath. Jesus was born, lived and died as a complete Jew, which means that he kept the holiday of the Sabbath. He didn't work on a Sabbath, he ate kosher food, circumcision, everything. When he came over here, it was on a Passover, when the Jews are following the events of Moses when he took them out of Egypt. Alright, it's a holy festival. Jews are going on a pilgrimage. Jesus, like them, he went on a pilgrimage. Okay? So he was brought over here. Jesus went against the authorities. He went against the establishment. He went against the Romans. And the Romans and the Jewish establishment, they wanted quiet. They wanted all the pilgrims to come to Jerusalem. And they wanted the city to be quiet in order for them to make money because they were taxing the people. And Jesus went against it. So he was brought over here and he was crucified. We're going to go to the back, and you're going to see station number 11, 12, is where Jesus was nailed to the cross. 12 is where the cross was posted. You'll see people in a long line kissing the place where the cross stood. We're not going to stand in this line, people. It's going to take us hours, okay? We're going to take a picture. Okay, several things. Jerusalem, ladies and gentlemen, destroyed and built times, okay? This whole place, this maze, was built by the Crusaders, the European Crusaders, the French, the Germans, the Italians. When they came over here 900 years ago, they destroyed the city and built this whole area from the beginning. But on top of it, later on, the Turks built some more. So we've got one layer after the other. For example, look over here behind you. You can see this tall minaret. This is the Church of the Redeemer. It's a church which was built by the Germans. Okay? It was built by the Germans in the year 1904. It was built. And we got German churches, Greek Orthodox, Russian, Americans, Romanians. We've got all of them inside the city itself and inside the old city. Inside these city walls, there are only 24,000 people living inside the city walls when we got inside. All over Jerusalem, I told you, just under 800,000 people. Now we're going to go to the Jewish quarter. This is the Christian one, the heart of the Christian quarter. We visited the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the 5 last stops of the cross. And from here, we're going to go directly towards the Jewish quarter. All right? Follow me. Follow me, please. Located inside the Jewish quarter, all right? And you probably can notice that most of the buildings over here are new. They're not that old. Yeah. Okay? In between 1948 and 1967, the Jordanians were here, okay? And the Jordanians inside the Jewish quarter destroyed all the houses. Only in 1967, Israel came back over here and liberated the holy city of Jerusalem in the 6-Day War. And right after the war, the 6-Day War, Israelis over here started to excavate, look for archaeology, and at the same time, they started building new buildings all around us because this whole place was destroyed. So they did a combination, building new buildings and underneath excavating. So underneath most of these new buildings, which by the way cost a lot of money to live over here, there are museums. All right, museums that will take you thousands of years back. This synagogue is the biggest one in the old city of Jerusalem. It's a symbol of pride for the Jewish community over here. This synagogue is a new one, but it's the exact replica of the synagogue that was here before 1948, which was flattened down by the Jordanians. It was just recently being built to the same size as 5 years ago. You can see the flags of Israel. This is the heart of the Jewish quarter. And now we're going to go directly towards another part of this volcano. Yes, Jerusalem, the volcano of emotions. We're going to go to the Wailing Wall, also known as the Western Wall. And over there I'm going to talk about the temple, King Solomon's temple and King Herod's temple, and how it's all going to fit inside our story, okay? Follow me. All the stores over here will be closed because it's the holy day of the Sabbath. By the way, when we're going to get to the Wailing Wall Plaza and we're going to go through security, you're not allowed to take pictures inside. I'm going to tell you when, okay? Before that, you can have pict's and I'll tell you when's going to be the last stop. On top of this mountain that you see, obviously the mountain is different, and he tried to sacrifice his firstborn son. You remember that man? What was his name?
Abraham.
What was his name? Abraham. Thank you.
Abraham.
He tried to sacrifice Isaac. Okay, that's according to the Jews. If you're going to ask the Muslims, Abraham tried to sacrifice Ishmael. the firstborn son. It all depends who you're gonna ask, yes? Now, it was happened on top of this mountain. Later on, King David will conquer this city, and his son, King Solomon, will build the first temple on top of this mountain. We don't know exactly how this temple looked like. They assume it looked like an altar. They used to sacrifice animals over here. Okay, this temple was destroyed by the Babylonians. Okay, 2,500 years ago. And then the Jews are returning back over here and building the second temple. The man who will take this temple and create the most beautiful building in the eastern part of the Roman Empire, his name was King Herod the Great. This is what you see today, roughly. The retaining walls, the walls that supported the temple. This is the place where you can take the pictures. From inside you can't take pictures. And alright, it's in the sun, so we won't do this. We're gonna walk, we're gonna stay right next to the western wall. If my Christian friends, when they ask me what's the significance of this for Jesus came over here as well. Right next to the western wall there was a market. It was selling and buying things. It was against it. It was against selling the house of God in the market. Later on, this temple, which holds within the temple the Jewish menorah, the 7 candlestick menorah. Later on, this temple will be destroyed by the Romans. Titus, the son of Vespasian, will ruin it. And up till today, if you're going to Rome and you're going to stand under Titus Arch in Rome, you might notice the Jews over there. There's a statue of Jewish captive people, prisoners, going in Rome, carrying the menorah. This is Titus Arch in Rome. Okay? And since then, the temple was destroyed. The Muslims will come after well, basically 700 years later, and they will build 2 mosques on top of it. Okay? The Al-Aqsa Mosque, the one with the grey dome, which is the most important. This is the third most important mosque in the world. According to the Muslim tradition, after the sky and got the approval of the establishment of Islam. He spent the night on top of the foundation stone, which is located in this octagonal church, the Dome of the Rock. And in the morning time, he ascended up to the sky to get the approval for the establishment of Islam. Okay? So for the Muslims, it's extremely important. The Jews, the most important part is on top of the mountain, but they can't pray on top of the mountain. That's why they're praying at the western wall. And that's why they cry, because they can't pray on top of the mountain. They're crying, they're yearning for the establishment of a 3rd temple. Okay? Let's go over here, take your last pictures over here. Yes? Take 1 minute of pictures. This is the western wall. This whole part over here, that's the western wall. Wailing Wall, okay?
Take me, please. Come.
100 years ago. According to the tradition, the Messiah should come from the Mount of Olives and enter the Golden Gates and go on top of Temple Mount. And then the end of the days will come. Okay? The dead will rise up from their graves. That's why you see the big cemetery over there. This is the big cemetery, the Jewish big cemetery. Because at the end of the days, the dead will rise up from their graves and walk. Alright? Because these are considered to be the best seats in the house to be buried. It costs a lot of money to be buried over there, yes? And that's why there are a lot of churches over here following the events that Jesus went through over here. The Mary Magdalene Russian church, and this is the Church of All Nations. Okay, inside this church, Jesus secluded himself, told his disciples not to fall asleep and to pray for the salvation of Jerusalem. He himself, he prayed, sweat blood, on a rock which is located inside this church. This church is a new one, it's 80 years old. But the old church was built again at the times of the Crusaders and it was destroyed, okay? Inside, when we're going to get inside, you'll see ancient olive trees, 1,000 years old, okay? Gethsemane means oil press. It was an industrial area. They used to press oil over here, press olives for the olive oil. Back then, olive oil, it was the most important thing. Today, if there is a shortage of oil, olive oil supply, nothing too